Hello YouTube, Dave here again. So earlier today I uploaded the video of what I was hoping was going to be my opening and unboxing of my D&D Rules Cyclopedia, which I ordered back in, as a correction, I thought it was early March. I had actually ordered it back in early February and it's still, near the end of April. I still haven't gotten it, but that's a whole other thing. But instead, what came in the package was this copy of Unearthed Arcana. And it's funny because a couple of the comments already are talking about, like, in a sort of like mocking, I don't want to say mocking, but sort of like a sarcastic tone, saying that, wow, a copy of Unearthed Arcana in good condition. And I always thought that was kind of weird, but I guess there were some people that had issues with their original copies of Unearthed Arcana, and I figured since I got this book, I may as well try to, capitalize on the fact that I own it, and I thought I would do a comparison video. So, I'm just gonna tilt this up a little bit here. So, I've got this print here. This is the print-on-demand version that came from DM's Guild Drive-Thru RPG. It is based on the 2013 reprint of the Unearthed Arcana book that was put out by Wizards of the Coast, but I don't think it's going to say anything. Oh, perfect. 2013 is when they did reprints. So from 2012 to 2013, Wizards of the Coast was kind of going through a reprinting spree. They had reprinted the core rules for first edition AD&D, D&D 3.5, and second edition Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, as well as they had done a reprint of the 0th edition booklets as well. So, so this is what that copy is. So this is the print-on-demand version. And what I have here is my original copy of Unearthed Arcana that I will look at here as well. And because I'm comparing, this is based on the reprint products, I also have a reprinted book that they did along the same time as part of the same product line. So this is the Against the Slave Lords reprint, and just to show sort of the differences between the Wizard of the Coast reprints of these products and the print-on-demand version. So the first thing that I really want to do is just sort of try to compare the size of these books. And one of the important things is, if you look here, the reprinted copy is slightly taller than the original printing. So it uses a different size paper, and the covers are a slightly different size, and it's also a thicker book as well, which just comes down basically just to the type of paper that they're using. So that's what we have there. As far as the cover goes, the covers for these reprints usually just had a little snippet of the art from the original cover. So you had reprints as well of the first edition AD&D Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, and Dungeon Master's Guide, and they did the same thing. So for the Player's Handbook, you had like this little circle here, and inside was like the statue that was being with the gems in its eyes. The Dungeon Master Guide had a picture of like the Ifrit in it, and then you had the Monster Manual, which had like the red dragon that was on the front cover. So it just has a little bit of a snippet of the cover art there. And so this is the original. So you've got the wizard actually poring over a spell book in his study. So you've got like some alchemical stuff going on there. And all that. So I guess, like I said, a lot of people were saying that the biggest concern that they had, or one of the issues that they had with this book, is the binding was bad and the pages would come out. So the copy that I have here is actually in really good shape. All the pages are intact. Nothing is coming out. Nothing is pulling out of the binding. But you can see where the potential for that is. So this is a book that I'm not really going to use a whole lot, sort of to begin with, anyway. But I can definitely see how that would be sort of an issue. So luckily none of my pages have come out yet, and at this point in time this is really just sort of more of a shelf item. So I might flip through it a little bit, but I wouldn't hold it open any more than say like that, so that the binding never gets the chance to crack and have the pages come out. So, but like I said, I could definitely see where that would be the issue. Now also for first edition AD&D, the book Oriental Adventures has probably the worst binding ever. So I've seen 2 or 3 different copies of the Oriental Adventures book, including the one that I own. I guess it's been three, and then I have my own as well. So I've probably seen about 4 copies of it, in my lifetime. And every single one, including the one that I have, has pages coming out. So, like I said, I could definitely see how that would be an issue. The binding's not super great. Even just looking there, you can kind of see, that's just shadow, that's not a stain. But anyway, you can kind of see how it was not put together in the greatest way. So when we look at this one, I mean, the binding does look better. You can actually see that it looks more, I don't know how well it's going to show up there, but it actually looks like it's glued in pretty solidly. I'm not worried about this book falling apart, essentially. At the end of the day, I think that this one's going to hold up quite well. So I still don't know what I'm going to do with this. I think if I ever do run a first edition AD&D game, if I want to make these options available, then I would probably maybe want to hold on to this. Otherwise, I might consider doing a giveaway with it, or I mean, I'm going to wait until I actually get my copy of the Rule Cyclopedia just to see if they have any instructions asking me to return this. They hadn't said anything about it yet, and honestly, I'm not going to offer at this point just because it's just I don't want to spend any more of my own money, on this, because it's something I hadn't ordered based off of a product that I've been waiting for it's going to be probably close to 3 months by the time I finally end up getting it, because it was all of February, because I ordered it on 2nd of February, the original book, or around then. It was very, very early into February, and at the end of March is when I had my replacement copy sent, and then this is the one that showed up, and it's currently near the end of April, so it's probably going to be the middle to end of May before I finally get it. So anyway, so I'm probably, like I said, I might hold on to this because I do want to run some first edition AD&D, or I may decide just to do a giveaway for it, or potentially either through my channel or Patreon, or even just give it to a friend or something like that. I don't know yet. As far as the inside contents go, though, I did show this off a little bit in the last video, but the insides look great. I mean, it's a very, very clean scan. It looks very similar. So I don't want to open up the other one too far, but let's just find a book, or a page. So let's just go with page 19. And of course I would open it to page 21. Hold on here. And then it would go to 17, because of course it does. Alright. So, just a little side-by-side comparison. And I've got both my hands occupied, so I can't exactly zoom in or anything, but it looks very good. Like I said, I don't notice any difference. I don't notice any blurring. The scan resolution that they use for this looks absolutely great. And just because this is newer and the paper's whiter, the black and white art actually stands out a little bit better in this than it did in the original version. Not that it looked bad in the original, but again, this this looks really, really good. It's an excellent version of it. And if someone wants this book, this is a great copy of it to get, because again, you're not going to run into the issues with the binding. Now, this was only reprinted a few years ago, so there is a chance, it's been about 5 years now, so there's a chance that you may have some local game stores that might still have a copy of this version in stock, as the reprint version. So there you go. So that's the comparison to the original book. Now, what I also want to do, though, is compare it to the reprint for the other stuff that they were doing along these lines, just to sort of give you an idea of how these look sort of compared to one another. So the biggest thing right off the bat is the texture of the covers. So the cover here for the reprint version is a very glossy cover, and I like it actually. It looks nice. It feels nice and glossy. But this one's more of a matte finish. If you take a look at this book, like you can just see the light reflecting off this one, and there's almost nothing reflecting off of the reprints. So, or the original Wizards of the Coast reprint. The other thing about these Wizards of the Coast reprints is they had some foiling on the cover. I don't know if that's the proper term or not, but this is like this is a shiny kind of foil thing, and you've got like the gold. Again, it's not real gold, obviously, but again, you got this nice sort of foiling here, and the title, of course, also has the same thing. So when you move this against the light, it really does kind of show up. And it looks great. You know, it's a very nice looking book. The back cover, it also has, so this detail work here, I don't know how well it's going to show up on the actual video or not, but this detail work here is actually indented into the book, so it actually feels, you can actually feel the textures here when you run your fingers over it. And again, it's probably not going to show up super well, but the darker spots here are all indented into the cover. So it feels nice, like it does. So that is obviously going to be missing from this, which is just the image itself. So like it's completely flat, completely smooth, and this is just, you know, a yellow coloring, so it doesn't, it's not a foil work or anything like that, nor would I expect it to be. I mean, realistically, this was like $29, I think, and I don't know if that's in Canadian or US dollars, truth be told. I think it's Canadian, but it very well may be US. But anyway, so this would probably cost around $40 or so, $35 to $40 Canadian, everything all said and done. This one here was in the $50 range, so I got it for less because I ordered it online through Chapter's website. But, you know, I mean, for all the extras that this cover has, it's also, you know, more expensive than this here. So, you know what, this is still perfectly fine. You can also order the Against the Slave Lords, and I think you can even get Dungeons of Dread as well through DriveThruRPG. The other thing is, we'll do the size comparison again. So once again, this the reprint books are taller, and actually just bigger all around. So you can see like this one actually comes out on the side as well. So you've got, you know, not a whole lot. I mean, that might be just a little under half an inch, you know, difference in size all the way around. But there you go. The spines, you know, I mean, it's still a nice looking book. And the one thing that I will say, I mean, as much as I like this foiling, if the sun's not catching it, it looks kind of dull. Depending, like if the light's not reflecting off of it, it just, you know, looks kind of muted. Whereas this is nice and vibrant. Like this really would stand out on a shelf, and it doesn't depend on having, you know, the sun hitting it in any particular way. So there you go. Like I said, I just wanted to do a little bit of a comparison just between these different types of products. So you've got the what the originals were like. Whoop. So you've got what the originals were like in terms of how they looked, how they were made, and the size. Then you've got the Wizards of the Coast reprints from 2012, 2013, and then you have the DriveThruRPG version of the reprints from 2012, 2013, and how they all sort of compare to one another. So anyway, so thank you everyone for watching. For everyone who's commented on the other video where I opened this up, you know, just again, I appreciate that. I really wasn't aware of the binding issues with this particular book, Unearthed Arcana, because I never had any issues with mine. The only book I ever saw that had some serious problems with it was Oriental Adventures. But now that I actually take a closer look at everything, like I can sort of understand how that might be an issue and that might be a problem. So probably just kind of leave this gingerly on my shelf. Won't be using it a whole lot, but you know, if I do run first edition AD&D, I may have a use for this book now after all. So I guess maybe something positive has come out of this, and if I don't, then I'll figure out something to do with it and kind of pass it along to someone who will appreciate it. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you next time. Funding for this channel is provided by my awesome supporters over on Patreon. So everyone who has donated to that, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. Even $1 a month helps immensely, and without your guys' support, this channel would not be possible. I want to provide special thanks to Kennedy S., David L., Will W., Michael L., The Twisted Tentacle Inn, and Roll Stats for their generous donations. Thank you again to everyone who's contributed, and all of you make this possible.